Okay, microphone check 1 2 1 2. My name's David. Hello. Also known in the city of Los Angeles as Zuma Dogg. And I was inspired by the new Joker movie. This is November 2019. And I always said that my story, Zuma Dogg versus City Hall, is like a real life Joker. And so, again, I was inspired to write the story. It's not my biography. It's somewhat autobiographical, but it is not my biopic. It's about Zuma Dogg versus LA City Hall when they created an ordinance that banned me and everybody from using amplifiers as performers at Venice Beach. So, what I thought would be a one time visit to City Hall to protest and let them know that it was a violation of free speech federal law uh, turned into a hoopla that I eventually ended up in all the media in LA and on Nightline, and we sued in federal court, and we won. And so the victory applies to all of America right now. And aside from the banning of amps on the boardwalk free speech violation, once me and a few people went to the council meeting to uh, give public comment, they started to censor us and eject us and ban us. And again, the federal judge ruled that that was all illegal. Now, what I find most compelling is that this story has already been documented and told in the LA media, in newspapers, TV, radio, and my own coverage. I had a cable TV show where I aired footage, and it's on YouTube. So when I made the script, I actually went through all the videos on YouTube. Let's say there's thousands of them, and I picked the ones that reflect like what could be construed into a storyline from well, I started, my first Zuma Dog appearance was on Howard Stern in the year 2000. Okay, so after I was on Howard Stern, I wasn't political, I was just going out to be a comedian. Then I came back to LA after that and I said, well, let's do some comedy. And I did a reality TV show. There was no reality TV show, so part of the story is that I invented reality TV when I took my camera to Venice Boardwalk and filmed a lot of stuff. And you could watch some of that and then I aired it on public access. So I became the Wayne's World, basically, of LA comedy, pop culture, making fun of Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Britney and imitating. Venice Beach, they'd have all the different T-shirts hanging up. It'd be like the Beatles. I would do like a composition of the Beatles breaking up. Godfather, I would do like recreate a Godfather scene. Zoom in on Snoop Dogg and do some rapping, and so there's a lot of pop culture flavor. And then you had all the people and performers, so it was like a video postcard from the boardwalk. Then I went to Melrose and other places, so it was pop culture fun, nothing political at all. And so uh, I would air that, and I became very famous just from that. Well known with the, I was the celebrity and already covered. LA Weekly already called me underground superstar and cable TV icon before I made it, before I did the City Hall battle. So it's compelling. It's like Andy Kaufman. Okay, like imagine you're making Man on the Moon, where they're going to say, okay, Jim Carrey, we're recreating the scene where he plays the bongos on Saturday Night Live and dances off, and then you can go on YouTube and see the real scene of the real Andy Kaufman doing that on Saturday Night Live, or when Andy Kaufman did the Elvis on the Dick Van Dyke Show. You can go, you could really watch that on YouTube, and then Jim Carrey recreated all this. Plus, what has to be shot, if this is documentary style, which it could be, what would need to be shot is the background scenes. Me sleeping in my car. Me and the boardwalk performers saying, "Let's go to City Hall." Showing council retaliating and having their meetings of what they were doing against us. So the stuff that wasn't on TV, that's the compelling stuff. Insiders, coming over to me and telling me things that eventually went on to arrests and law changes. I've been credited with swaying elections. Okay, this was all during a magic time of 2006. For about 5 or 6, 7, 8 years, when the council meetings were broadcast on TV, on cable. Okay, so everybody watched cable then. You didn't have Netflix and a million different things. It didn't move to cell phone yet. Nobody even, people had cell phone, but not to watch YouTube on it. or Netflix. Okay, so everybody watched TV. It was on the city TV channel 35, a pretty low dial position, and they aired each meeting 4 times, and there were 3 meetings. So I was going out on TV. If you add it up, reaching about 20,000 people a week. Okay, so that's like Zuma Dogg at the Staples Center, using the city's cameras and a TV station against them to expose the corruption. Once I started to go there to protest about the Venice Beach stuff, people came up to me, and I talked about this in the treatment, but people started to come up to me to say, geez, Zuma Dogg, can you talk about this? Can you talk about that? So here's where it gets good. I say my story is like Joker. Now, first of all, when I say that, he will shoot somebody, an example of how it would manifest with me is since the city was cracking down on me on the boardwalk and what I thought I was allowed to be doing, well, gee, if you're a restaurant and you had your sandwich board sign on the public sidewalk blocking traffic and blocking me, I'm going to fucking kick that thing out of the way. I've walked into stores like, hi, excuse me, but, your sign's blocking the sidewalk, and you're paying rent for your store, but you're not paying rent for the public sidewalk. So could you please move it? Excuse me, who are you? It doesn't matter who I am. It just matters that you're violating the municipal code, and so I'm just asking you this one time to please take it in. And it's like, oh, get out of here, I'm going to call the police. It's like, okay, good, fucking call the police, man, because they're going to tell you to have that fucking sign on the sidewalk, and I'll walk out and I'll fucking kick it into the street. So a real life situation. They call the police, or the police saw, or whatever. They pull up, police jumps out. It was the sergeant. Oh, Zuma Dogg, hi, man, today from Howard Stern. I see a council giving him hell. Listen, man, we just enforce it. I'm sorry. It's not like we want to do that. And very nice. He's like, and then the lady goes, oh, he kicked the sign. It's like, I go, it's not allowed to be on the street, on the sidewalk. And so he turns to her, he's like, listen, I might not agree with his tactics. This is Venice, but, you're not allowed to have it there. Please take it off. I'm not going to issue a ticket, but if I come back and see it, we'll have to report it to building safety. Oh my God, triumphant, victorious, okay? So that's like, so again, I don't shoot the person, but like, look what happened. And to follow up even further, yeah, they violated it. I turned them into building safety. They were taken to Superior Court, okay? Now, cut to a year later, the owner, her partner, a guy, I'm walking down the back alley. He fucking pulls up an SUV, jumps out. I don't know who he is. He's like, that's it, you and me right now, bro. We're going down. We're going to throw down, bro. It's like, I am a co-owner of that restaurant you called in. We didn't comply. And then the building of safety, Superior Court. We got, and it was like the scene in Training Day where Ethan Hawke was in the bathtub and he like talked his way out of it. They're about to kill him, and he talked his way out of it. That's what I did. I got him to understand that he was mad at her, not me. So, now here's some of the background as to the dark psychology. Zuma Dogg, improv comedian, had a lot of celebrity fans. My cable TV show before I got political was comedy, like a Jim Carrey. I love Chris Tucker, Ice Cube. You got a pattern, a little bit of him. Eddie Murphy, of course, like the Beverly Hills Cop character. Robin Williams type of, just like the spinning top of comedy, ranting improv. So, but it's been a lot of heartbreak because when I came up with a lot of things that I got ripped off for. Like I invented E-Entertainment Television, Power 106, the first all-rap format, VH1 Classic. I invented reality TV, and with that, I don't pursue that in the script. But the point is, once I'm, once I'm on the, once I'm homeless because I'm not able to make the money, sure, I had a lot of. I used to work at the biggest radio station in America, Z100. Then I went on to work for Billboard, even bigger. So I was, backstage with Elton John, the Rolling Stones, front stage for Paul McCartney. He winked at me when I walked in. Tina Turner, dinner with her, or Clyde Davis let me stay in Whitney Houston's condo when she was out of town. Then I did meet Whitney eventually. But so living that type of lifestyle, then cut to me on the sidewalk sleeping. I just would have been happy to been able to make my money I was making on the boardwalk, you know, and hope something good would happen. But then they took that away. And meanwhile, when you know you're supposed to be able to be making that money and you're violating federal law flagrantly, telling you, well, the city of Los Angeles runs the city of LA, and if you don't like it, sue in federal court. You know, they know most people can't. They didn't think we'd ever win. It took years. What do they care? It's not their money, right? So, but we did win. But so the point is, it really took a lot out of me and, you know, changed me. And so, so what happens is when I'm on the, you know, so homeless, I'm thinking of all the things. Man, I can't believe, you know, E ripped off, VH1 Classic ripped off, Power 106, they never hired me. You go through all the things, you know, it makes you very fucking psychotic. And it's like, you get what you fucking deserve, kick your sign, but I don't shoot you. Okay, but I will go to fucking 10,000 city council meetings in a row and turn the cameras on you and expose you until some motherfuckers were in jail and other people lost elections they were supposed to be a shoe-in for. And just so much stuff. The city had to change laws. They had to start to follow them. So, no, seriously, I had a profound effect that people give me credit for, truly historic, you know. And all the while, you know, my one friend, he said, well, geez, Zuma Dogg, you know, Moses never made it to the promised land. I go, man, that does not help, man. That does not make me feel better. But seriously, the story is, people would always ask me, geez, Zuma Dogg, you're homeless and, you know, you're starving. You just, you know, how do you do this? How do you keep going to these meetings and doing what you're doing? It's like, seriously, the spirit of the people. You know, it was not, I was unwitting. Okay, they said, oh, geez, Zuma Dogg, you know, you're a real hero. It's like, don't say that because I don't want to do this. Okay, like I can't. Something is dragging me all over the city. Okay, yes, collective consciousness. I'm here to say is real, in the way that when you're being blasted, you know, the morning drive radio, then you're the council meetings TV, they're writing about you in the newspaper, the LA Times, LA Weekly, you know, more radio in the evening, an occasional, you know, Nightline, Good Day LA. You know, it's like there's a vibe, there's a buzz, you know, and so like I'd wake up in the morning and say, hell, I just went to a million meetings, I'm not going to go today. Then maybe you turn on the radio, like, yeah, Zuma Dogg said this and it's like, oh boy, everybody's waiting for me. You know, people started to show up to City Hall just to see me, to talk about things. So I said, you know what? Jay Leno has to show up to the Tonight Show. Letterman has to show up for his show. You know, everybody, the show I like, they have to show up and do it. People think of that of me, and if I want to get some momentum, I have to honor that. You know, and the other thing is, I did have to honor it because, you know, at first, you know, you can't just use it selfishly. You know, like the Spider-Man thing. You know, these are real. You know, let me tell you, these comic books are very good at the bigger picture. That you take out the blowing up stuff and all the non-reality, but those underlying stories. You know, so you know, I found out quickly the minute you use it selfishly or in the wrong way, boom, the community is there to smack you down, and you know, it feels good when you're honoring the spirit of the community. And I'm also here to say that yeah, I couldn't stop myself, and I was dead tired all the time, and every comment was my last one, and every day I'm stopping after this, and you know, went to 10 or 12 years, you know, so I am retired from day to day now. Because you know mainly it's not on TV anymore, and the public access channel I was on, they pulled the plug, and that's what I was on Nightline for. Yeah, they pulled the plug on public access, and then on the council meetings to stop me from exposing them. You know, because what also happened is once I started to show up in the style in which I did it, which was in my Zuma Dogg hip hop, Jim Carrey type of crazy character, other people started to see that, and then they started to come to City Hall and would repeat the things I was saying, and they would bring things to attention that I would take from them and they would take from me. And so instead of all of a sudden having to stop just for Zuma Dogg, oh my gosh, now we got fucking 10, 20 people showing up now, the 10 or 20 Zuma Dogs, you know, now we got to sit through all of this every day because you get required time. All right, so I was bringing people out of the woodwork. Oh my gosh. So, you know, I'm like the Beatles of public advocates, you know, where all of a sudden you get a million other bands, you know. So, so there you go. There's a playlist. So now what I'm going to do is cut a documentary where I'll set the scene up and then show the clip that corresponds with that to give you the behind the scenes and to make it a little bit more of a storyline, because not all the storylines on YouTube, like I said, only the public stuff. So it gives some insight there. There's your documentary. And then I had the script written that I told you is based on the videos, plus the background stuff. And so that is written, and it also includes the exposing of corruption. So it's like The Sopranos or Godfather, because if you notice, the California and Los Angeles, you don't have the mafia like in the East Coast, like in Jersey. That's because it's the city halls, it's the elected officials, and this stuff is mafia Godfather. Now there's not as much shooting, but it's Godfather stuff, okay, and it's all to take the money from the community and put it in their pockets, okay? And so I exposed more of that than anybody ever did. And it's only because people were telling me this stuff, the insiders, the people in the know. And what was happening was, you might have somebody who was going to City Hall for 10, 15 years about an issue, and they got all the legalese, and they're an attorney, and they talk in this boring legalese. It's like nobody could understand it. So, the guy pulled me over and explained it to me, and I had to sit there and really try to I'm a smart guy, but I'm also a knucklehead. I'm not like a legalese genius, and I would finally be able to repeat it back to him in a way that he was happy. Like, yeah, that's it. So then I would go out there and go, yeah, Zuma Dogg, I'd like to say they're evicting all the elderly at Lincoln Place. They're not supposed to do that. They're in violation of the vacancy rates. And then it's like everybody understood. So I was able to take the complex legalese and reduce it down into a 1 or 2 minute speech that your everyday Joe could understand. And what I attribute that to is I was in radio, and although I went into a background career of programming and market research off the mic, of course, early on, everybody, I was in college. I started off as the DJ. That's what I wanted to do at first. So then I found out that the DJs can pick the music, and they weren't the ones like writing the stuff and coming up with the ideas. So I went behind the scenes. But of course, what I learned as a DJ is you have to talk on the 10 or 15-second intro. So they'll give you a liner card, for a 60-second amount of copy, and it's like, oh darn, nothing's going to stop us now. The Starship, only 15 seconds. I'm going to have to take the 60 seconds, get into 15. So you really learn how to edit, So that's what I attribute it to. And so there's more. I'm going to stop now. If you're watching, I can't believe it. But go to zumashow.com and watch the Zuma Dogg City Hall videos. I put them all together that I'm going to cut the documentary stuff into, and it'll give you a good sense of the character. Thank you.